Hello and welcome to Celebrate Aging. I'm Vicki Marthaler, your hostess, and I am flanked by two very impressive people who work for Emmanuel. This is Barb Schiller, and this is Ashley McNally. And Ashley and Barb are going to tell us today about a plan that we have, because you know, anything can happen if you don't have a plan. And 2 years ago, when there was the big flood in Fargo-Moorhead, and people were scattering hither and yon, trying to get away from the water, we ended up with, Emmanuel community ended up with maybe like 70-some refugees, and we found places for them. The community was great. We gave out the word, and people brought in beds and other kinds of supplies, and we took care of people in corners, in closets, in conference centers, and we made room and we took care, and it was quite the experience. And Ashley is going to talk to us about that 2 years ago. And now we thought, you know, this could very well happen again, because they're talking about flooding, and we may have to be evacuating, Fargo-Moorhead again may have to be evacuating people. So what can we do here at Emmanuel to get ready and prepared and have places for these people? So I'm going to give it over to Ashley. You can hold the microphone. Talk into that, please.
I will.
And tell us about 2 years ago, what was the deal?
Well, 2 years ago, I worked for Ecumen, just at a different site, the Fargo-Moorhead Evergreens.
And now Ecumen is our parent.
Ecumen is our parent company,
yes.
The same company that owns Emmanuel Community.
Yes.
So I was kind of on the flip side 2 years ago. We had a couple days' notice to get everything together, and we were told that we were probably going to be evacuating.
Yay.
Yay. So Emmanuel Community, Janet Green and I talked, and Emmanuel Community said that they would accept our residents, both the Fargo and the Moorhead Evergreen residents. So we came to Detroit Lakes. It was actually a really great experience. There were people in Fargo-Moorhead who were evacuated to places where they were literally sleeping on cots, if not on floors of basements and such. So all of our residents, with the help of a Detroit Lakes community, all had beds and televisions, and pretty much whatever they requested was at Emmanuel within hours. So we actually had a very good experience. And this year, I'm on the flip side. I'm the housing director at Emmanuel. So we are working with the Fargo-Moorhead Evergreen staff and preparing for a possible another evacuation.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to have a plan, because everything, even though it was a good outcome 2 years ago, it was also very stressful, and especially for those poor people, the residents who were being brought here, like, well, where are we and how are we going to stay, and you know, are our nurses going to come with us, because these are people with complicated health and issues, and they need to be attended to, and so it was rather stressful.
It was stressful, not only on the residents, but also on the families.
Yes.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time just communicating with families, letting them know where their family members or friends were, and what was going on, and how they were doing. So, yeah, it was quite the process.
So now we have a plan. So tell us what the plan is. Like, let's say the flood is coming, and Evergreen says we really do need, for safety's sake, to move our residents. Are they going to call you or Janet, or how does it start?
Yep, probably Janet Green. The Fargo-Moorhead staff would probably contact Janet, and then she would let us know what was kind of going on. Thank you. And then our plan is for the residents, for the most part, to evacuate to Union Central, which is the new housing place over the old Washington School.
We're right here in the living room right now, in front of the fireplace. So.
Yep, so we have, there's some open, because of the time of the year, there is still some openings over at Union Central, so the residents would take advantage of this beautiful.
We have the big dining room, you've got living space, we've got empty apartments, and they're all up and ready to go, and so the plan is?
Yep, the plan is for the majority of them, the ones that would be safe in this environment, to come to Union Central. If not, there is a couple people who probably would go to Emmanuel Community, the ones who need a more secure environment. And then because of our charity benefit that we had at Emmanuel Community a couple weeks ago, or over a month ago now.
Time's flying.
Time is flying. We raised money to purchase about 30 beds, so the old beds will probably be brought over here, and we're going to hang on to them and provide those to the refugees from the flood.
Maybe we'd ask for volunteers. People in the community have pickups.
Exactly, that would be great.
Put it on the pickup, bring it over here.
Yep, definitely. So, we're probably going to be asking the Detroit Lakes community for help if we do need additional beds or bedside tables, chairs, televisions, those kinds of things. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, now, Barb too has a role in all of this. You are?
I'm the volunteer coordinator. So if you have time that you would be able to give us to spend with our residents, you would call me. My number is 844-7162. And what we're looking for is people just to come and spend time with the refugees, to sit with them. They are scared when they get here. They're disoriented. They've been uprooted from their homes, and they have no idea where they've just landed. So to have somebody that can come over and sit with them, have a cup of coffee and a cookie, play games, watch TV with them, just to sit and be with them is so important.
And listen. Listening is the big thing.
Yeah.
And how wonderful that we have a big, beautiful dining room and a kitchen. I mean, you really could seriously sit down, make some cookies, and there's a big screen TV in there. And so we also heard from Bonnie Mose, who is the director over here, the manager, that ACS has made sure that there will be cable and that we'll keep up on the news on what's going on in Fargo-Moorhead. And this is if the flood gets to the point where people have to be evacuated. So it may happen, it may not. But if it does happen,
then we're going to be ready. We will be ready. So like Ashley said, we could use people with trucks and strong backs to help haul things. If you have donations of beds or TVs, lamps, linens, pillows, things like that.
So in a way, we're asking you to be ready and kind of think through your mind. You know, I do have, if this would happen, I do have some ways that I could be helpful. Maybe kind of set them up. They're dug way back in the closet somewhere. You can kind of dig them out and just have them in the front. And if that happens, you'll be ready too.
If you know that you would have time, if you would call us beforehand, then we can have you plugged into I'm making out a little schedule so I would know what shifts I have covered.
Sure.
That would be great.
You sound really organized too. We like this.
Trying.
We've got plans. We've got sheets of paper here. We've got schedules. We're all ready. We're ready. We're ready for the flood. But of course, we're hoping for the sake of the community of Fargo-Moorhead that there isn't a flood. But if there is, then they'll have a place to come and it will be safe and we'll be able to care for them here at Emmanuel and here at Union Central. And Union Central is on the north side of town, and it used to be the old Washington Elementary School, and now it has new life. It has new life as being a senior apartment building, and so if you haven't been over here already, please do come and see how we are preparing and how we can offer this to the community. One of the things, Ashley, I was going to ask, I'm going to take this from you, Barb, and I'm going to give it back to Ashley. Thinking about 2 years ago, can you, how long were the people here from Fargo-Moorhead?
About 10 days.
They're about 10 days before they were allowed safely to go back.
Yep, before the cities set and kind of gave us the all clear.
On that 10th day, when they were ready to go back, what was their response to being uprooted and set here for 10 days?
They actually loved it. Some of the things that I heard was they wanted to take the staff from Emmanuel back home with them. They wanted to get recipes to bring back because they loved the raisin bread was one thing. And just all the good food at Emmanuel. And then I do have kind of one fun story. One of the residents who had Alzheimer's, we got back to Detroit Lakes, to Fargo-Moorhead, and he was getting off the bus and somebody had asked him how his trip was, and he looked at the nurse and he's like, you know, that was the best week in Florida I have ever had. So he had a fabulous time. Wish I was there with him, but
so here we are from Detroit Lakes, Florida, wishing you a wonderful day. And if there is going to be a flood that is going to endanger people, in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Emmanuel has a plan, and we are here ready to serve. And this community is too. So we thank you for your help. We thank you for your thoughts. Call Barb, 844, what was it?
7162.
7162, if you would like to be on her volunteer schedule. Have a blessed day.